Interesting now that they're going to be up against some of the world's best and brightest, how they will perform on this kind of stage. Now, albeit it does come with a bit of a caveat here, Blair, because obviously Spirit have had a couple of changes recently. Patsy and Chiron in, a lot of uncertainty about this roster right now, and they will be starting things off on the T side.
Yeah, I mean, Mirage is a map, especially when you have a brand new team coming in with a brand new IGL as well. You know, Patsy getting upgraded from the Spirit Youngsters team. It would be a much more comfortable map to call on, to work with, as the desk pointed out as well. But Smuya and Brolan waiting towards the toll booth, and it's going to be a quick trade. Brolan with a quick double, finding Dexter and Sumdai Young, two of the veterans from the Spirit side. So despite the fact that they kind of do have the bomb side vents, they don't really have any utility to keep the CTs at bay.
That's a very good point. There is also strength in numbers right now from fnatic, who've gone in for two more. Smuya and Brolan peeling off their heads, and only Patsy stands, but not for too much longer. fnatic claimed first blood, even with a lack of utility. They just brute forced it, but Spirit do have some options now to play with. If they want to go for a force, it will be available.
Of course, they've got to go for the force. I think we're... You know, it's been a while now where no one really, you know, if you get the bomb down, it's almost a guaranteed, you know, a couple of Galils coming out, maybe two AK-47s. I do wonder how some of the new players, one of the players, Chiron, I did remember seeing him in EC Brugge a while ago, how he's going to be slotting into the empty spot left by Mir, right? And Mir, alongside Dexter, was one of the main heavy hitters for this team. So there we go. AK-47 going to be coming out for Dexter. The rest of them, 3 Galils and a Scout. And Vince, there is a distinct lack of any sort of utility for the T side.
Yeah, just the one smoke, and they're getting pressured and pushed up middle, and this may actually be the best case scenario for Spirit, as it bypasses some of those issues that you were just touching on. A fast 1-for-1 trade will leave fnatic a little bit bare somewhere on the map, and it's whether Spirit can exploit, find, and expunge that to their benefit. So much time still remaining, of course. They're going to just slow things down a little bit, and minimal damage inflicted to Patsy. The one smoke they had up their sleeve has now been tossed into window. That will afford them a bit of safe passage through mid, but here comes a boost into the window area, and now Sumdai Young peering across the connector. It feels to me that Spirit, using that one smoke, haven't got a huge amount from it. Yes, they're starting to take some mid control, but it's really, what do they do with this?
This can actually work out, because you can see the rotation taking place towards ramp, right? But with fnatic peering, just poking towards mid, gathering information, they're going to be aware that there's no presence coming out from mid. They catch the lurk in the form of Patsy, and now they're aware it's going to be a push coming into the extremities of the map, either A or the B bombs. And you can see already Alex repositioning towards the A side. He's got backup in the form of Brolan as well with the AUG, which is going to be just sniping them down as they try to make their way towards the side fence, because as we alluded to earlier, no flashes, no smokes.
And probably no chance now that Magix has just been wrecked down to 4 HP. 25 seconds. Crossfire is good, but Brolan's been bested. Alex now needs to hide on the firebox. He has this round in the palm of his hand, and he snatches it away from Spirit. 2 frags to his name, and Smuya will clean up the rest. fnatic off to a quick fire 2-0.
I mean, good damage being dealt out there by Team Spirit, but considering it was a full-fledged buy and they didn't even get the bomb down, you know, fnatic are going to be happy with the way they survived that. I like that from Alex and his men, just pushing down mid when they realize they don't have any information whatsoever. So they clear out mid. They catch Patsy, who was just holding towards the chair, take him down, and now they're aware it's going to be towards A or B. And of course, Brolan making contact, kind of a tell there that it was going to be an A hit coming in. And Alex as well, great repositioning with the FAMAS getting just 2 kills. Great job overall. And for the side of Spirit, it's going to be Deagles coming out. Chiron investing a little bit more extra with the Kevlar, but again, no utility, just the Deags and hoping to land these headshots. And Brolan spots out a player, but Magic's unfortunately not able to find any cover. This should be an easy round for fnatic, and Mezzi probably looking to farm a little bit of cash with an MP9.
Yeah, precisely. This is, I don't necessarily say a foregone conclusion when, as you highlighted, there are Deagles in play, but it's as close as you can really get to with Counter-Strike. Sumdai Young obliterated down to 1 HP. Dexter's going to follow suit, but Smuya gets a bit too apprehensive, peeks his head out one too many times, and does get it removed for his troubles. This is where surely fnatic just dig in deep, though. They get their superior weapons where they really count. You have the aforementioned SMG in the hands of Mezzi, who's just holding through on the window side, anticipating a potential jump up from the benches. Alex watching connector. It's very difficult to see how Spirit can get themselves into this round. It feels like it would be more Fnatic's mistakes than Spirit's excellent plays that would yield around here, but they do now have their hands on the M4, and this is where the Kevlar that Chiron picked up through into the round could come through. However, it's a massacre. Alex holding it down from Catwalk, and Dexter try as he may. It falls on deaf ears, and Fnatic, they pick up 3 in a row.
Nice attempt there from Dexter, but yeah, Fnatic just losing the one rifle. They're going to be okay with that. And now we got Smooya with the AWP coming out in round number 4. An upgrade off the AUG for the side of Brolan is going to be dropping his M4 towards Alex, I believe. And now for a Spirit, now is going to be the first real test they're going to be delivering towards the, almost at the Swedish side there, Vince, but the British side. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while.
Yeah, you'll get there, Blair. You'll get there eventually, mate. It's the same for me because Fnatic is just synonymous with Swedish Counter-Strike, you know, and it is odd, but at the same time, it's great. You still have the legend as well, obviously, with Crims being on the team. I'm kind of curious how he's going to fit in with this roster, but he is typically their most, you know, if you go back historically, one of their most consistent players, and especially Mirage, by the way. Like, typically when he plays stairs on Mirage, good things happen for Fnatic. So it's quite interesting to see how a few things have changed around now, with him now playing Catwalk instead. Hasn't really been called upon thus far in this game.
Smooya, though, playing a very, very hard position with the AWP. And Alex, okay, he's going to be pushing in from the smoke, catches out Dexter. He knows there's a couple of players still around. He's going to spam away all his bullets, but able to only find one. He does manage to tickle Patsy a little bit, but the position is known, and that's a chunky nade being lobbed in by Brolan. Now, some Die Young and Magic's looking to strike onto the site, and that is going to be Smooya getting caught off guard. Nice timing by Magic on that peak, and Brolan has a lot of work to do. Somehow manages to stay alive on 19 points of health, but man advantage clearly with the T side.
Absolutely, although 2 players low on the side of the T's. Brolan's also feeling worse for wear, and now Fnatic need to try and rummage together a retake. Good frag from Brolan. Perhaps they spoke too soon. No retake required because the bomb's been spilled down with the blood of Spirit. This is where those 2 weakened players becomes that little bit more detrimental. There's no smokes for the cross. One stray bullet, they're done. Great flash yield to frag from some Die Young. And Patsy trades back with Magics. They survive by the skin of their teeth. Spirit get it done.
That got very, very, very nervous for a Spirit, right? 4v3, Brolan getting the kill on the planter, considering how low it was, really shouldn't have happened, but good attempt. I like what Alex did here, but you know, he gets a kill on the Dexter by getting caught off guard, and this timing when Magic's finding Smooya, right? And that's just great awareness that Smooya is going to be just rotating around, that he likes playing towards the stairs position, and with the stairs compromised, or rather connector compromised, Smooya would be falling back to a much more comfortable position to play the Yop from, which is usually a jungle, and that is the timing which Magic's catches, taking down a danger man. And with that, Vince, sure, it took a while, but they've broken the money, and Fnatic will be wielding just the USPs. Of course, with the lost bonus coming in, they will have enough to eke out a pretty solid buy come round number 5. For Spirit, it's about trying to ensure they lose no players. It's only the USPs against AK-47s and a solitary Glil in the hands of some Die Young. I gotta say, though, now this is kind of like it should be an easy round here. I say that Smooya finds a kill, but I'm still gonna say Spirit's gonna keep majority of players alive. It was a bit of a surprise for me that Spirit went for the changes they did, Vince, like taking out the IGL and then taking out Mir, one of the, you know, the heavy hitters of the team. Sure, they had a disappointing major, but yeah, they got a couple of wins. They were looking pretty competitive against some of the teams they lost against, but I guess just the middling results they've had over the course of like what, 6 months or something. I guess eventually that's what you know, broke the camel's back at the end.
Yeah, it is a bit of an odd one, isn't it? Because I'm definitely in the same, I'd say, side as you on this respect. When you look at the individuals and you look at what they bring to the team, I think Mir in particular is one that would have been quite a shock to a lot of people because of his just outrageous skill. For the longest time on Spirit before Dexter joined the fold, he was pretty much their star player and their star carry. But I suppose you never fully know what's happening behind the curtain, right? Like, you don't really know if there's any issues, like personality-wise. I'm not speaking out of school here. I have no idea myself. That's the only thing I could think of, though, as to why you wouldn't hold on to Mia. It does also feel like a bit of a transitional phase, though. But we'll have to see, because, as you said, Chopper being the IGL no longer in this team, I don't know who's IGLing right now. I actually have no idea, and it's curious to see how that's going to affect their gameplay. T-side, so far, been doing a solid job. In this round, Dexter's been tagged down to 49, but Chiron's already taken ladder control.
There's a lot of room being taken by Spirit here early on. And just to answer your question, Vince, I do believe it is Patsy who's calling for the team, which is a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of the young player who was playing for the Spirit Academy side just before he got called up to the main squad. So a lot of responsibility for him. And of course, for Chiron, filling the shoes of someone like Mir is definitely not going to be an easy ask either. Now, a lot of map control here being rested by Spirit. And Brolan, well-timed smoke. That's going to buy him a few more seconds. He's going to try and poke and prod and try and potentially catch someone off guard. Crims, though, great awareness. Finds Patsy, but are they aware, Vince, of Chiron still lurking towards the ladder room?
They've just heard the drop. Brolan just heard that 100%, and now he can get up close with a FAMAS. There's 2 kills. The ramp push has been utterly collapsed and demolished by Brolan's hands, and it's one of the Swedes, the fnatic, as has so often been the case, that just puts an end to this round. Chiron's position was so good for so long, but the problem is with these kind of spots, it's only as good as the rest of your team. If you're one of these lurk flank positions and the rest of your team just gets destroyed like this, it really doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, and they weren't aware of Chiron's position as well, right? Because Crims, he peeks out, he finds a player who was just boosted into window, and it's like, yeah, that should be the lurk taken care of. And as long as the ramp push worked out, if they're able to at least trade Brolan, he could have just just snuck on in, rather, into his jungle and potentially cut off the rotation. Could have potentially gone the way of Spirit, but then Brolan with a very heads-up play. He only had the FAMAS. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to play up a bit close and personal. They were running out of time, and they really were crossing their T's and dotting their I's there. And Brolan, also a little fortunate to take out the player with the rifle and not the Opera, right? So he finds him, and the Dexter in amongst the flurry of flashes and the chaos, not able to quite get the trade. Brolan, though, great opening kill onto Magisk. Some Young does reply back, but Alex, with the AWP, the second AWP for the CV side, is going to find 2.
That's pretty terrifying. The fact that you have Smuya and Alex can both pick up those AWPs.
Oh, yeah.
Dexter, in the meanwhile, being doing his level best to make his work in this round. Obviously, we know his talent. That is certainly a scary prospect if he starts feeling it, but he's surrounded and circled by CTs, won't get a single one, and for the 3rd time in the round, Alex strikes. He is 10-4 right now, straight up smashing Spirit.
Well, we all know Alex can offense, and like you said, a map like Mirage, our desk did mention it. It's a map being picked by Spirit because obviously you want a little bit more of a puggy map. You're a brand new team. I do believe this is their first official game as well. You want a little bit of room to work with. But that means that fnatic could kind of just, get out of control here. You could have Mezzy just pop off. Crims hasn't really had to do much either. As you pointed out, Alex and Brolan on 10 kills apiece. And Smuya he's barely done anything yet. As we have a fun fact once again coming in for our lovely Elliot. Something old, something new. Crims is over 18 times as many rounds played as Chiron. That's a stat and a half, Vince. He's an old man, and Chiron is, I won't lie, I've only seen him on HLTV. I don't think I've ever seen a game of his on stream.
I'm gonna be totally honest. I'm in the same boat, Blair.
Yeah,
when I heard he was picked up, I was like, "Sorry, who?" I don't mean any disrespect here, because so often there's been the case a player we don't know ends up being an absolute beast. Think of Spinks. They were touching on that in the previous game, but yeah, I really didn't know much about this guy whatsoever. By the way, as a side note, the bomb's down in Palace, so have fun trying to win this round, Spirit.
Yeah, it's all about trying to deal as much damage as it can. Spirit's going to stick around. He does have, of course, Alex is going to be the bait right now, and Mezzy's where you can hear everyone jumping across. So yes, they have given up the B bomb set, but as you pointed out, Vince, might as well. The bomb isn't very much in control with the CTs, and this was a bit of an investment from the T's. It wasn't a full eco. Nice shot from some Young, though, catching Mezzy while Karen was kind of the bait there, and I think the camera's a little wrong there, but it's all right. Hopefully production can get that sorted out very quickly, and there you have it. Just the one casualty for the side of fnatic, and some Young, his days should be numbered. They know exactly where he is. He hasn't been able to retrieve the rifle from Mezzy's corpse. Should be round number 6 for fnatic here. But this is what's worrying for me, right? For Spirit, they were able to break the economy, but the rounds that fnatic have won thus far have looked very, very convincing.
Yeah, it was from a couple of slips and slides early. I mean, that's just always the nature of Counter-Strike. It's such a cruel situation to be on the CT side. You could be cruise control, lose a couple of rounds, and suddenly, oh, hold on a second, we have to dip down to a FAMAS and MP9, or we actually have to just save straight up. I think, honestly, with their economy at the time, they could have forced, but they obviously wanted to prioritize this double up setup, which understandable considering how successful and how efficient it's been so far. But I completely agree, man. Like, since the first few rounds, this has seemed very comfortable for Fnatic. And most of these rifle rounds have looked pretty straightforward. So maybe this is where Patsy stepping up to the IGL role may start to have like a couple of problems here and there on the T side. You probably have 1 or 2 set defaults. What happens when plan A doesn't work? Do you have a plan B? Do you have a plan C? We're yet to see.
Yeah, and it's only been just a couple of weeks since the major as well, right? Like since the major started, and they weren't able to have a deep run there. So I don't think they've really had much time. Well, Fnatic have looked fantastic thus far, and a bit of a win streak as well. Apart from the, I think it was the Elisa tournament they played, where it wasn't Smuya playing for them. So they've looked great in this position from Brolan. That's a free kill for him. He should be traded, and he will indeed be. Alex, though, caught looking the wrong direction. He was expecting a flank, a pincer to come in from underpass, and because of that, he will fall. But Smuya with the quick reply of his own, and Prims is hearing all of this commotion, Vince, so he's aware where they're going to be coming in from. But Smuya, for the time being, is all by his lonesome, and because of that, he's going to be grouping up with Prims. That's an interesting reposition, and Dexter is going to find him.
What a shot from Dexter. You could see from Smuya's position. He was like, hold on a second, what the hell just happened? Smashed through the murder hole in the head from the AWP point blank. And now Spirit, post-plan, just as we were waxing lyrical about how good Fnatic were looking and how comfortable they were looking, Spirit have stood up tall. And this is just what the doctor ordered. Slight gap in the boxes, yields a lot of damage onto Crims. And that should be enough to force him away, but it could be into the embracing arms of Dexter, who's rotated around, actually traded to the AK. The run and gun style working out beautifully as Crim's body hits the floor, and that should be a third for Spirit, and indeed it will. Mezzi's just going to be playing save, picking up the AWP and running back, and that's exactly what I was hoping to see from the neutral's perspective here. Even though there are UK players on the server, I'm doing my best to keep impartial. You want to see this be competitive, and rounds like that give me hope.
I think a little biased there, Vince, you know, UKCS and all of that. But this was a bit of, I don't know, like, I was a bit curious why Smuya would want to rotate into a murder hole. Like, Crims was holding that angle earlier, but he had repositioned deeper towards, I think, window. So there was a spot, but there was a timing where someone could be holding that angle, and unfortunately, yeah. Just unfortunate timing there for Smuya.
Oh, speaking of which, having his toe singed from the Molotov over on the connector side, forces him to use the smoke, can stay in position alongside Crims. He's locking it down with the M4 from Catwalk. So a slow and steady approach here from Spirit, which makes sense. You're now making Fnatic sweat a little bit. You know that their economy, yes, they're able to save an AWP, but that's pretty much it. So you win this, and it's a potential ticket back into a flurry of rounds. Crims knows that his 6 is covered by Smuya. Watching up on top middle allows him to focus down on the underpass. Molotov, he will hear a couple of ticks onto Kyron that will give him valuable intel. Smuya still holding the same position, and they have not forced him away just yet, and he flicks to the head of Dexter. A bit of revenge, but misses on the second shot, and that allows Spirit to actually equal the odds and takes the middle control. Looking to try and force their way out on towards the A side. Brolan with his AUG sprays down, connects the headshot onto Kyron. And Brolan on low HP may have just sealed this round. Remaining 2 Ts pushing through on the Palace. Patsy, 36 to his name. Plenty of utility, but a distinct lack of smokes. And that is the key aspect of this now for Spirit, is they have to clear these angles out quickly, and with such low time remaining, there will always be one angle that goes unchecked, and that may be the checkmate move. Brolan, by the way, 15 frags to his name, is playing possum at the back of CT, peeks around the corner, denies the bomb plant, and there will be no time for Patsy to get this bomb down and secured. Fnatic pick up a 7th round.
A little too slow there, and unfortunately, like you pointed out, Vince, I did miss a little bit of that round. Got disconnected, unfortunately. But yeah, Brolan, that was all Brolan. Gets the first, gets a second kill, and then just holding the angle passively. It's a 3 versus 2. There's no need for him to, you know, just leave the position. He's got his teammates around and preventing the bomb from getting planted. And Spirit taking a little bit too much time. There is 16 kills for the man. He might have gone missing just just a few months back, or rather for the entirety of the year, it felt like. But it looks like with the with the addition of Smooya, with Alex and Mezzi coming on in, he seems to kind of found himself. Now, still early days, still online games and all of that, Vince, but it does paint a very good sign for the side of the young Swede. A little bit of a nice pop flash there. Mezzi will not spot the player dropping down in towards the van, and that is going to be some Die Young. And I don't think he spotted out Crims boosted up on the site and looking to find a couple for himself. But the remaining members of Spirit slowly sneaking in. And bear in mind, this is not really a buy, but they do have the stage rifle to work with. And Smooya, he just moves his crosser at the worst time possible. Suddenly, the 3 versus 3, making it 2v3s. Patsy finds a couple, the young IGL, making it work. And now the map, it's split in half.
Oh, this is starting to get into disaster territory. Not just the map split in half, but the economy has been split to pieces. It's ripped to shreds. Very little money left on fnatic, and they need a hero play from the likes of Crims. We've seen him do this time and time again, but he's in the wrong position. He was up in the apps hoping for the best. It does give him a fast flank, a fast rotational play, but a good flash tossed in. Magix goes for the jump peak, spots nothing. But it's all about Brolan at this stage. What kind of impact can he have? If he can rattle off a few shots, maybe it'll divert them long enough, but they decide to pull the plug. They found an AWP. They can keep the M4 alive. And with the economy as it stands, they may be able to wiggle together for a force buy. But Spirit, with so little, Deagles and an AK have made it work. And they've hurt fnatic again.
That's just a punch in the gut, right, for the side of fnatic. And for Spirit, it wasn't really like they're going for anything too crazy. They had some Young drop towards the side. He gets an opening kill, which is just great stuff there. I think it was Mezzi who was unaware. And then this particular look coming in from Patsy, it catches Smooya, who just was caught repositioning. Terrible timing for Smooya, but then he cuts off the rotation as well, finding the second kill, and in that in a 2v3, fnatic looking at their own economic situation, they're like, this one's really not worth going for. So a huge win, a huge round for Spirit, considering the investment, as you said. And now it's going to be the full-fledged buy for Spirit. They have the AW in hands of Dexter, but look at the amount of damage being dealt by the utility. Dexter's burning alive as well. He's got to get the hell out of dodge, and Alex has single-handedly taken down Dexter without even seeing him, Vince, only with the utility. And that's the AW player gone in like 10 seconds.
Oh, it's one step forward and several steps backwards there, Blair. That was their chance. That was their opportunity to start to break down and potentially even be leading come the second half. It's still retrievable, but it is such a body blow to lose Dexter in such an awkward position. Additionally, Alex now pushing through on the B apps alongside Mezzi, getting valuable intel, and considering that the bomb is dropped back at the T side of those apps, if they spot that, it is so much information they can relay to their teammate. Smooya getting a bit antsy in connector, right timing to pull the plug. His spidey sense is tingling, and that will keep him alive. But more importantly for fnatic, keeps them a one player to the good. Alex is now spotted the bomb as it transitions through middle, and Patsy survives by a slither on 4 HP. Now they're coming out of the woodwork. Messi goes huge onto Chiron, and there's his second. Bomb spills out yet again. A Magic surrounded, isolated, and eviscerated. fnatic 8-4 lead, but a round that Spirit will be devastated they've lost.
That's such a huge round. They didn't really have the full buy, right? They had a CZ in the hands of Alex, which, well, he wasn't really able to upgrade, but Mezzi, huge work with the Famasio towards mid. I still want to go back. Maybe our desk can probably break it down later on, but Dexter just got absolutely dumpstered by the utility top mid. As another fun fact, fnatic have won their last 4 best of 3s. Spirit have lost their last 3. With the old roster, true. True. The difference being obviously the caveat being, and this is something as a CS fan, you always have to bear in mind, would be you need context with the numbers, right? For Spirit, the last losses were in the major, and what for fnatic it was, I do believe it was the DreamHack Open qualifier and the IEM Winter qualifier, the close qualifiers, right? So clearly a big difference when it comes to the level of opposition as well as the pressure that's on. It's a whole different ball game when you play on LAN and of course when you're playing online. But that being said, you can't still take it away from them. fnatic, I gotta say, Vince, this is the best looking fnatic we've seen in a long while.
Oh yeah. I mean, fnatic, let's be honest, for how big the brand is and how synonymous it is with CS, they've been underperforming for a long time as a brand, and it's about time that we start to see some success. I think Maybe expecting to win this entire event is maybe a bit unreasonable, but they'll be expecting to get bare minimum, I would say, to the playoffs. Mezzy, in the meanwhile, trades out Kyron, deals with his bullet. But unfortunately for Fnatic, it's actually gone lopsided. Spirit get 2 frags in return and already have a post plant on the site. It is such a difficult site to retake with a lack of utility, and it's going to be made that little bit worse. The fact that Alex pushes out before his teammates and gets punished.
That was a bit questionable from Alex, but great entries from Spirit, though. Just dismantling the B bombs. That's something they haven't really tried too much. There was a one round where they managed to win just with the pistols and a solitary AK. That was all off. You know, it was some Young dropping into the B side and getting the opening kill, which kind of led to that domino effect. So yeah, maybe it's taken a while, but Spirit seems to have found a little bit of a chink in the armor for the side of Fnatic. And they are gonna abuse that to find round number 5. Now, if they can get a couple more here, then at least make it a 9-6 scoreline, or if not 8-7, they're looking comfortable, right? It's your map pick, starting the T side. Fnatic were looking good initially, but the fact that they're able to somehow steal a few of these rounds away, despite Brawlline having a hell of a half, despite Alex just popping off the AWP, and if they're able to somehow get to 6 or 7 rounds, it's definitely something to work with. And this time around, and it's going to be Patsy as usual. The IGL going to be looking towards top of mid, making a little bit of noise, but the rest of them looks like they're gathering up for a quick hit towards A. A little bit of a difference, though. It's going to be a waterfall out from Palace, meaning Smooya and Brawlline are really going to be tested. It's going to be a fast hit.
Smooya, wait, anticipate. There's going to be more players, and that patience will be rewarded. So much damage done from Smooya. 1 frag, but also Collat in the second play. It's been finished off, and then legs Dexter through the wall to 20 HP. Team Spirit wanted to try and set up some kind of A execute, but the guillotine comes down on their necks. They do at least have Patsy that's making a move around the back of B. Maybe he's the ace up the sleeve that they need, but the bomb's been spilled down on the A site as well. Oh, it's so brutal for Spirit.
It was so strange as well. Like, I don't really see, there was no spacing of the flashbangs coming out from ramp. And if you're going to be coming out waterfall from Palace and you're just going to be going for a contact play, you need to land your shots, or you need to, you know, just offer one body up to Smooya's AWP so the rest of them could make their way onto the side. But no, firstly, we had a collateral hit where he managed to get the first kill, and the second one was, you know, a body attack through the first player. Brawlline finishing him off. Dexter as well with a slow peek from the left eye peek. Didn't quite pan out as well. So yeah, they try to mix things up a little there, Vince, but it comes to a halt very, very quickly. So they're going to be saving their remaining weapons. Now, they can go for still yet another pretty solid buy, unless Mezzy seems to be aware. He seems to be cognizant that Patsy is around the corner and is waiting for the time to run out to potentially take him down after the timer, so he won't have money. Is he going to appear in the corner? Yes, he is. Oh, that's a kick in the nuts, Vince. A kick in the nuts.
Oh, it really is, isn't it? It's like a drop kick with a running start straight to the plums. You will have no economy. You will have no weapon. Oh, and I'll yoink that AK from your corpse as well. Cheers, mate. He must be so tilted because he was there forever.
Yeah. And it was like, well, I'm safe here. There's no way they know I'm over here, right? So he could have dropped a weapon to one of his teammates. Instead, he will only be able to afford the AK-47 for himself. And once more, Vince, they have the weaponry. They have Dexter with the AWP as well, but the lack of utility does not bode well for them, if you ask me. They still have a couple of smokes remaining, a flash and a Molotov. Finding an opening kill would be real helpful. Once more, a little bit of pressure towards Palace. A nice flashbang from Alex, so not quite gonna eke out a bait shot, and that is a nice shot from Dexter. He read that perfectly. And Smooya, so very lucky to stay alive there.
Oh yeah, and he's getting aggressive behind him, but that will prove to be his downfall. However, even trade back. Patsy makes sure that Dexter's life is not lost in vain, and Spirit in the 4-on-4 need to go collect that bomb again. They're getting control over the A site, but they still need to pick up the bomb. Crims gets one, shuts down Chiron in the back, but then will fall to the Sword of Magics. And with it being the last round, you better believe Fnatic are going in for this one, but Smooya is about to get clotheslined from behind. Patsy, once he sees the barrel of that gun, can hold in position, but the timing may work against him because Smooya is being patient. He hasn't pushed out of the window room just yet. So Patsy's going to be moving into the embracing arms of Mezzy, but sprays him down, albeit on 5 HP. And it's hard to see a world as good as Smooya is where he can clutch this one out. And to make matters worse, there is also some Die Young flanking around the back. Some smooth moves will allow Smooya the luxury of getting up on the catwalk. Just evades the peak. There's the first frag comes down, but now they know exactly where he is. And considering he has no smokes or incendiaries to try and cordon off one of these areas, the second he starts to play across, he should be shut down. Also just get shoulder peeked by the low Patsy, who's moving onto the site. He's doing his due diligence, covering these angles down, but the timing is going to work against Smooya. Down he will fall to Spirit, and that's going to be 9-6 at halftime. Join us after the break to see how this map concludes.
Everything I do is not enough for you. Come on. Take it down. Everything I do is not enough for you. Everything I do is not enough. Gonna get it till you gonna take a ride. Gotta get a look at the other side. I know I just gotta get away from you. Gotta get away from you. I know I just gotta get away from you. Hey, 'cause everything I do is not enough for you. Spine, but the water's getting cold. When the lights shine brighter, then you turn away, 'cause the feeling's growing old. There's a bomb in the hangar that's about to blow, but you let it anyway, 'cause the thrill is the only thing that's left to feel before the whole thing blows away. This ain't no game to play, 'cause the life that you got is all you're gonna get, so don't waste another day. This could be something better, this could be brand new, so get up and make
A roller coaster of a first half sees Fnatic lead 9-6, but if we're being honest here, Blair, I think both teams will feel like they could have done better. It was a strange game of cat and mouse, economically speaking, with both teams winning and losing rounds they probably shouldn't, and now we find ourselves with Spirit on the CT side.
Yeah, I feel Spirit are going to be a little bit more happier than Fnatic are, right? A couple of those rounds they won just with, I think it was one AK with some pistols there earlier, so some unlikely rounds being won by Spirit, putting them with a decent fighting chance that they can convert the pistol round and the following anti-ecos. We could have a close game here, but Fnatic going for a bit of a Almost a contact play here. Smooya well ahead of the rest of the pack, and here they come charging in alongside the smokes. It's going to be deployed, and 4 Glocks looking in the direction of Chiron. And Spirit opting to play retake on the B bomb site means now they're going to have to land their shots. To have a smoke and a kit to work with in the hands of Magix. Apart from that, it's going to be the USPs, and Dexter's going to open things up, catching Alex, and that's going to make things very uncomfortable for Fnatic. So they go pushing into this market to at least get some information, Vince. But Broland gets taken down in the meantime.
Yeah, they've created that space they were looking for that was closed in from the frag from Dexter, but now they need to try and batten it down. They're losing bodies left and right. Crimstone spins around for 2 on a swivel, but Smooya falls on the last hurdle, and Dexter, without a kit, should still have enough time for this full defusal. So Spirit will be picking up the second pistol, and it will be 9-7. That frag, though, onto Alex from Dexter around the back, you nailed it, Blair. It made things so uncomfortable for Fnatic and put them in horrific post-plant positions.
Oh, this shot from Crims, though. Yeah, absolutely, right? I mean, Fnatic had so much space to work with, and the moment they lost apartments, they realized, all right, we need to push somewhere. We don't want to go towards short where the USPs could potentially come out on top, so they go pushing towards market. But Spirit, majority of the players coming in from the short position, and Dexter as well. In the end, despite the heroics of Crims, able to clutch out the 1 versus 2, the hero of the round, and an AWP in round number 2 of the first half here, something you don't see quite that often, and that could potentially catch Fnatic off guard because they've gone for the force of their own. Magix, blinded by the flashbang, will have to fall on back. He has been spotted out. The Fnatic have quite a bit of utility to wield to try and prevent Dexter from landing any shots. Although, Vince, as I pointed out earlier, they don't know he's got an AWP, but now they do.
Yeah, they've heard that now. They've heard the big green rain out. Magic's labored spray punishes him. Crims should be dead. Guardian Angel stepping tall, but will be finished off through the smoke. However, it's allowed Fnatic to create space to get the post plant in, plus the fact that Broland, who's in good form, he's on fire right now, is pushing into window. This adds an extra element to the crossfire, adds an extra element they have to be cognizant of, and now Patsy has felt the force from Broland's position on jungle. Chiron's still alive with Dexter, though. The two of them trying to tag team their way back onto this site with the aforementioned door. Alex, so important. They got to kill the frag, in prime position to spray through the smoke, but is found by the MP9, and now tickling the bomb, trying to draw Messi out into the open alongside Broland, but Dexter has to play ring around the triple box and decides that this should be done. Spirit cannot clutch the round. The time is too scarce. Dexter narrowly survives the bomb blast as well, and Fnatic, well, they'll be feeling pretty good about the fact that force buy just yielded in their 10th round.
Yeah, the push as well from Broland, right, with the Galil finding that first kill and just doing his best to stay alive. And again, Dexter, despite the heroics, he had the smoke, he had a kit. For a moment, I felt he could potentially have stuck it, but then the AWP, again, at the back of his mind, a very expensive investment considering it was just round number 2. And Fnatic, the force buy of theirs comes, I mean, it works out for them. And they're still going to be sticking around with the SMGs. And, well, the force buy wars are going to continue, and why the hell not? You know, the buy is not going to be that great for Spirit. So for Spirit, either they go for the full eco and try and work with the USPs, or maybe a couple of pistols around Dexter's AWP, or they go for a force buy of their own. And Fnatic, those SMGs are going to be very comfortable when they're going to be going up against pistols, but they still need to find the one player on the side, Chiron, and Broland's going to shred him to pieces. Alex as well with the flank, Vince, they just farming the money. Some die young. Last player towards short as Dexter will also fall. That's the AWP stolen away by Fnatic. And this force buy of Team Spirit has fallen on its face. Some die young, what can he do? He can't even upgrade his weapon, right? It was an SMG player. That was Alex who got taken down. If you can somehow find Smooya and steal away an AK-47, that'd be great. But they're already on the hunt, and this is looking, well, I was about to say unlikely, but that's done. 11-7.
And this really is like one of the worst possible starts to a CT side. You win the pistol, you're feeling pretty good. You then go for a force, including an AWP. You get smashed. You lose the subsequent round. You're now flat out broke with Fnatic on a fast track towards 12 or even 13 rounds. This is very uncomfortable if you are Spirit. And for a team that, yes, I know Patsy's been around for a while. Before, obviously, the Academy played for a team called Espada as well, which some of you may have heard. But is he realistically going to have the winning formula with his calling right now? Is he going to be able to unlock this Fnatic T side? I'm not so sure. We'll have to wait and see. What we do know for this one, though, it's the full-on eco, as you'd expect. And already Smooya decides, screw this, I'm just going to get the Mach 10. I'm going to rush straight through Connector. So much information already attained. And although Dexter is getting some of his own this intel won't be that valuable because, yes, they're getting the periphery of the map, they're pushing through ramp, they're pushing through the apps, but middle is completely vacant. And so fnatic have the choice of going wherever they should please.
It is a curious decision from fnatic to have all 5 players to group up, but they know it's just a pistol, so they're like, all right, Smooya, you got the MAC-10, you lead the charge, and the rest of us are going to be coming up from behind. So they do have that AWP as well in the hands of Alex. They don't want to lose it early on. And as you pointed out, Vince, it's going to be an empty site, which you're going to find. They do, however, want to keep every single one of the players alive. It's just the USPs, and it's one P250 there, but it has been taken care of by Broland. So there we go. They're going to be going on the hunt. Smooya looking to find one. I think he's aware. Spots out. Some die young. It's going to be a very, very comfortable round for fnatic as they march on ahead, leading by 5 rounds now. For Team Spirit, Vince, it's their map pick. And I got to say, if it goes to map number 2, I mean, if they lose this map and it goes to map number 2, I feel it's going to be a quick 2-0 for fnatic. So for them to take it, to make it competitive and take it to overpass, they need this map pick of theirs, and this mini comeback trail they need to get on. They need to start right now because this is going to be the buy coming in. Unfortunately, Dexter, he still doesn't have enough funds to purchase his weapon of choice.
I mean, my concern is even if Spirit get to overpass, you're then playing into the wheelhouse of players like Mezzi, who was phenomenal on that map. So, you look at this best of 3 and you think, geez, for Spirit, this is definitely an uphill climb. And it's definitely been that case here. They do scrape together a buy, but you can see how rough it is. Already down to 2 smokes and incendiary, only 1 kit, lack of firepower, and Magix has been forced away. Now, this smoke, not great. Patsy can see that there's a gap in there to the right-hand side. Some Die Young tries his luck, but there is a flash there to greet them, and just the S-nade thing. Somehow that's only done like 5 damage collectively between 2 players when it landed on top of them. Some Die Young sprays down Crimsto, so maybe there's a way forward, and this boost is phenomenal. Patsy backs himself too. That is exactly what Spirit needed to get themselves back into this map.
Alex is so far away. Now, this lurk could potentially work out for him, but considering how much time has elapsed, Spirit are aware of this potential flank and can already see Dexter, his attention focused in a murder hole, and it should be taken out here. The dink does take place, however, and now, Smooya with a collateral, finds 2, but not able to find cover in time. But Vince, that was very doable. Some Die Young and Dexter were so very low because he could have taken out the pistol and potentially pull off what would have been a ridiculous 1v4 clutch, but Team Spirit will survive, and the AWP will be retrieved as well. Nice boost here from Patsy, able to find Broland, as well as the second player, and Smooya, though. The timing was great to find a double kill, but he doesn't find more. But they're not going to be too worried about it, Vince, because they still have a lot of cash to work with. And Broland is still going to be wielding the MAC-10 instead of, I do believe, Smooya wielding it earlier. And Broland decides, you know what? I've got 23 kills already. I want to play this game in a little bit of a hard mode.
Yeah, that run and gun style will afford him to take the spear of this push and try and plunge it deep into Spirit, but instead it's Chiron that puts up the shield, the bulwark working out for his teammates, the Bastion of Hope. So much shrapnel damage is well done. Alex, Mezzi, Crims all picking it out of their shins, but they've bypassed all the defenders, and Spirit have succumbed to their wounds. Patsy has to smoke just to keep himself in position, but that gives his spot away to the oncoming team. They line up. The 2 weak players have now been dealt with and sent packing. This is a winnable round, but Smooya puts an end to it. And although Spirit did take down the previous round, because their economy had never stabilized, they're straight back into another eco.
And as an IGL, Vince, this is a situation you never want to be in, right? It's 13 and 5. Sorry, it's 13 rounds for your opponent. And you're like, okay, we have no money. What do we do? Do we want to go for the force buy? You go for the force buy. You don't make it work. That means it is going to be round number 15 for fnatic, right? Because you will be completely broken after that. So they will have to just grit and bear it and just go for the full eco and hope that when fnatic get around to 14 with whatever buy they have coming up next, it's going to be good enough to somehow string a few rounds together. A fast hit coming out towards the stack, Vince. They're walking into the stack. They found a couple, still another 2 players going to be lying in wait. Crims has a lot of work to do here, and suddenly, even though it's a 3v3 against unarmored CTs and USPs, 2 AKs have been retrieved by Spirit, and they are making this a little scary. Now, Alex has made a lot of noise. He's going to be running straight towards the B bomb site. Now, Spirit have a decision to make, Vince. They can save these 2 AK-47s. They can wield it into the next round. Or are they fancying the chances of going for this retake? They have no utility, no armor, no kit, and they come walking into the waiting arms of Alex. 2 quick headshots, and it's all on Chiron, the latest member in a 1 versus 3, and they know exactly where he is.
I'm somewhat dumbfounded that when his 2 teammates die, he actually still goes ahead with that 1v3. I mean, I can only assume it's because they're at such a vast deficit of rounds. But I honestly think if this is closer in rounds, he probably just pulls the plug and saves that AK, because it has such an important impact in this round. You get an AK-47. It allows Patsy to get more grenades. They've got no kits, Blair. Like these are vital pieces that are missing now.
These are the rounds where I wish, it's very rare, but there are times where I wish James was calling, because James was calling that. He's like, listen, you got 2 AK-47s, save it. Just save it for the next round. And 100% agree with you. Look at the 4 players with no head armor. Not that it really matters against the AK-47s, but you never know. You could be in a situation where you're going up against a player who has to take out the Glock, right? In that case, you want that head armor available. They don't have a single kit, as you pointed out. No incendiaries, as I can see right now. So those 2 AK-47s could have come in real handy. The extra utility is going to be so impactful, and Dexter trying to go for the hero play, Vince, doesn't quite pan out for him, and that's such a huge factor taken out of the equation for Spirit and fnatic, 4 kills away from getting to map point.
Yeah, Alex just showing again that sometimes in real life, the hero doesn't actually win. Sometimes you just get straight up headshotted, straight round the corner, and it's put to bed. However, Sunday Young is trying to keep the fairy tale alive with his M4A1S, locking down ramp, dealing with the Swede of Crims. And here come fnatic through connector. 50 seconds to play with Magix. Has a good read of the situation, but has to retrieve a bit more bullets from his belt. And in doing so, Sunday Young was vulnerable, all alone, isolated, and dealt with accordingly. Brolan gets caught in awkward position. That's the bomb that goes down as well. And if Magic's in a threat and a second headshot, very doable. This round is still certainly in favor of Spirit. When you consider the bomb position, the time, and also the HP bars, it's looking good that Spirit may get this done. And indeed, they will. fnatic still have plenty of funds, though, to scrape together another buy. But at least Spirit are making a go of this.
That was a huge round for Magix, right? Find the double kill. They weren't aware of his position. Not at all certain that he might be just hiding around the corner. Finding the double kill there, definitely turning things around in his favor. But they are not quite safe yet, Vince. They still need to break the economy of fnatic, but they still have a very solid buy. All the utilities, all the weaponry they want, and it's gonna be, it looks like, fast hit coming in towards A, and unfortunately Mezzi and Crims, the 1-2 wombo combo, the 2 aggressing CTs get completely dismantled towards Palace. And look at the repositioning as well. Now Spirit probably thinking that it's a lone member towards A, Sunday Young probably thinking they're going to be coming in from Palace, but they're all going to be repositioning towards ramp. It's a 5 versus 2, and as long as they don't make any massive mistake, this round's done. This round's done. It's going to be map point fnatic.
It really just epitomizes and embodies how this entire map has gone from my perspective towards Spirit, that they get a really good round. There's the glimpses of brilliance, but then there's no consistency behind it. It's one step forward and then either a step to the side or backwards. And whereas fnatic, they're just grinding out these rounds. I honestly think if you ask fnatic after this game, they probably wouldn't be overly excited by the performance. There were quite a few issues. They honestly were losing rounds they shouldn't and making rounds that should have been very straightforward, a little bit more difficult. But some big performances from the likes of Roland, individually speaking, on 26 frags, has had tons of impact, has got them across the finish line here to a 15-9 lead. But Spirit, this next round, Blair, their economy is absolutely in the bin. It's so bad.
I'm not even sure why Sunday Young was trying to go for exits there. I mean, you have nothing to work with. And that was an M4A1, which would come in real handy. So, you know, sure, he gets a kill on Alex, but it's not worth it. It's just not worth it at all. So they have this all coming into what could be the final round. And look at the money. It's so grim for Spirit. Everyone on the 3,000, sub $3,000 mark. M4 will, A1 will be afforded. But sometimes, yeah, if it stayed alive with that A1, You would have utility to work with. Magic's going for the scout, Dexter with the scout buy, Deagle for Patsy. At least they have some utility events, but yeah, this is painting a very grim picture for Spirit here on their mapping. And for Fnatic, if you take out Brolan from the equation, look at the kill spread for the rest of the teams. It's fantastic, right? 19, 17, 16, and 16, I do believe. So just great quick kill spread overall for the rest of the team. And of course, Brolan just being, well, we're seeing glimpses of the past from the young Swede, which definitely, if you're a fan of Fnatic of old, you're definitely feeling very happy. Charon with this solitary save weapon from the previous round gets taken down by Crims. It does a lot of damage though, but not quite able to land a finishing blow. But Fnatic, Vince, I think they're 3 punches away from taking us to map number 2.
One swift combo from the KO, absolutely. And judging from the next map, it doesn't paint a very pretty picture if you are on the Spirit side. That being said, though, to try and be the optimist, I suppose, with the 2 more unknown elements, perhaps Spirit actually will come out strong and turn a few heads. But based off the performance that we've seen here, we haven't really seen anyone fully pop off. And if Patsy is indeed IGLing, he's also top fragging, and by a margin, that is a concern. Alex headshots Dexter through the wall, I believe that was, and finishes him off. And, well, the pieces of the puzzle are falling into place very efficiently indeed. Fnatic finishing this one off with a headshot from Brolan, and that's going to get it done over on Mirage.
That looked clinical from Fnatic. It looked like they didn't even break a sweat. They were looking very, very comfortable, and it's good to see how this team